Hi, Laura. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm very excited to be here today to talk about my favorite things talent acquisition and inspiring people and workplaces. So, to get started today, first of all, as Laura said, I am with PitchBook. And for those that don't know, PitchBook is a provider of the most comprehensive, accurate, and timely intelligence for the complex private markets. So, data company, research company, and we do a lot of hiring based in Seattle, have offices New York, San Francisco, London, Singapore, Mumbai. And we've done a lot of hiring over the past years. And we also have a really unique culture. So, before we talk about values based hiring or anything in that realm, I really want to touch on what makes PitchBook unique and what makes us a really, really special place to work. So, I'm going to start with company values. I know everybody's got them, all companies do. I would say something about PitchBook is we really, really live the values. They're written on the walls, they're in everything we do, down to our quarterly performance management, picking a value that you really represented that quarter, or maybe a value that you want to work on more. And our top five values are customers are king. And, from a recruiting lens, our candidates are our customers, our internal stakeholders are our customers. And, we only succeed when our clients do. And that drives us. We want to understand our needs, both internally and externally. Followed up with excellence as a state of mind, having high standards, and not being scared to hold a high bar and aggressive goal and hold folks accountable. It can be a tricky situation sometime, but we all push each other to be the best that we can be. The third is probably my favorite. Well, I shouldn't pick favorites, but I am. Embrace and drive change. And if you're not changing and you're not thinking of new ways to innovate and to do things differently, you're going to get left behind. And so we consistently and constantly challenge the status quo and try to embrace a better way. I think this is something I talk to my teams about. You do things one way, right? And you do it for a long time. It's hard to reimagine a different way. And so constantly challenge yourself. What's the third way? What's the fourth way? What's the way we haven't imagined yet? And I think that perspective and that, push really, really gives people at PitchBook an opportunity to make impact, to make a difference, and to try new ideas and test them. Followed up by focus, which, all the change is great, but we have to execute and measure and make sure we are doing the things we need to do to get the job done. And then last but not least is make it fun. I think, we're here today talking about inspiring workplaces and making it fun. That's not just about parties and, events. It's also about the positivity and the energy that you bring to the workplace. It's surrounding yourself with people that want to solve challenges, that will want to work hard, that on your hardest days are going to lift you up, and you would do the same for them. And really, keeping everybody focused on keeping the eyes on the prize. So that's just a little bit of grounding for our values so you can get an idea of what PitchBook stands for. So, following up on that, one of our fundamental beliefs is people are the cornerstone of prosperity. And so, when you think about that in terms of an employee perspective, for our organization to be prosperous, we have to make sure our employees can prosper. And of course, there's table space stakes that have to happen: competitive compensation, benefits, growth opportunities. Oh, sorry, I think we might have had a couple of technical issues there. But also making sure that people are supported with other programs that really lift them up so that they can come to work and really thrive. So a couple of ways that we do that are unique to PitchBook. Create a very welcoming environment. I mean, y'all have all been there. You know how hard it is to start a new job, right? It is terrifying when you go in on your first day. can be scary. So recruiters understanding what you want, what drives you, making sure you are a good match for our values and you are going to thrive here. And then once you've signed your offer, we're making sure we're staying in touch. We're giving you the information you need for a good onboarding. When you get here day one, you're greeted. It's, I would say our onboarding is probably some of the best I've ever seen. And just the education. We have new hire meet and greets. So they talk to executives and really get to understand what's going on and who's who in the company. Also, we have a buddy program. I think that's really important. I still remember my buddy when I started almost 7 years ago and how they, continue to be a resource for me. So we make sure and have that set up. Building meaningful relationships. It's another cornerstone for us. It's hard to do things if you don't have real relationships with the people that you work with. So finding ways to engage with folks on and off, your day-to-day job. So making sure that there's opportunity to meet people, to talk about things, to work together, to, if you're interested in sports, to play on a team together, all of that. Then celebrating inclusion and purpose. We do want to make sure that the folks that come in do feel included and do feel like they have a purpose. This is represented by several ERGs and also a very robust community service and volunteer program as well. We'll get to in a little bit. And last but not least, the way we do this, and I think this is so important, is recognition and rewards. I do believe that PitchBook really goes above and beyond with recognizing employees. We have a platform called Cheers where you can send messages when folks do something that you want to celebrate. We have what's called the Panther Awards. And so you get an award. People get nominated and then get an award for each value, which is really exciting. And I'll talk about that in a little bit. We have tango cards. I mean, there's just a lot of different ways that people are recognized. And I do believe we have a culture that we celebrate one another and keep each other going and motivated. So a couple of other traditions that we have that I believe make us unique. We have company lunches. So every quarter we have a pizza rally. And or every month, rather, we have a pizza rally. And the pizza rally it used to be a hot dog rally, then turned into a pizza rally. And it's really to cheer our sales teams on as they close out the month. We want to make sure that they know that we are thinking about them. They know that they've got this and that we've got their back. So we come together. We also do monthly department sponsored lunches, learn more about different heritages, all of those things. So that's a really great way to come together. We also have sports tournaments. I personally have never participated, but we've got shuffleboard, a ping pong, which the ping pong gets pretty intense, cornhole. We've got client events, golf tournaments. We have teams that people can play on, and someone on my team plays on the Frisbee team, and there's softball. So there's lots of ways for folks to engage. We also have some other fun traditions that are unique. One coming up next week actually is our Halloween bash. This is in all the different offices, and the PitchBook kids come in and on their costumes and they get to trick or treat, and we have a really good time. I know a big tradition at PitchBook that I loved when I first started was the St. Patrick's Day Slack bingo, doing bingo over Slack. It's just fun, and everybody gets really into it. And I remember thinking that was the coolest thing. I started March 1st, obviously just a couple weeks before St. Patrick's Day. And I remember being like, oh my gosh, this company is just a really great place to be and what cool energy. And kind of going back to the Panther Awards, once again, this was another instance where I was just blown away by the amount of recognition and effort that was put in to recognizing our employees. This is held at the beginning of the year, so February, March timeframe every year. And like I said, there's nominees, and then somebody's picked and awarded for each of our values, and also some sales and customer success awards, as well as and the Ultimate Panther. It's in a beautiful building when it's in Seattle, and it travels different offices, and with a band playing and all sorts of cool stuff. Like I was, like I said, I was so taken aback. It was inspiring, it was so inspiring to see just how much value the leadership team and honestly just the employees place on each other, because these are employee nominated and employee led recognition, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible. So another area wanting to touch on is the belonging at PitchBook. This is another thing that makes us unique. And I know a lot of companies have programs and all of that, but we really focus on allyship, communication, decision making, making sure that people do feel as if they belong and have a spot and are heard and know how we make decisions. Things are transparent, and that the employee really feels supported so they can go on to do, their best work. Our employee resource groups, we've got Ability, excuse me, we have Aspire, we have our Black Panthers, La Cultura, Prism, Valor, and our Women's Initiative as well. And these are all employee led. And, we've got boards, we do events, we do a lot of intersectionality. So, maybe Prism, the LGBTQ community, works with the women's community, and we do an event together. We try to do a couple a year, and it's really great. And the events are educational. They're community driven. I mean, I can give an example. I think this is pretty inspiring. Our Prism team, they put on a lot of plays. They take really complex and hard topics and do plays that are funny and are engaging and really teach people and open people up to become more empathetic and just more understanding and tolerant all the way around. And so I've really seen the value that these groups, these employee-led groups, have the value they provided for PitchBook. The other community we have is PB Cares. So this is when I was talking earlier about our volunteering. We do so much. We have a Global Volunteer Week, which is great because we get time off to go volunteer, and you can go with your team. Like some teams will go with other teams, so more people get to work together that, typically don't work, like maybe in the same department or what have you. And we do some really, really fun stuff. We do challenges with Food Lifeline in Seattle. Our other offices have different charities that they partner with. And so this is really, really important to PitchBook that we consistently give back. And our employees really, really love it. Okay, so that was kind of the end of, I'll just go to this slide, of talking about like what makes us unique in terms of culture. So now we'll get into the other side, the side that's really my bread and butter, is the talent acquisition. So you build this culture, right? You have all these beautiful things going on. You have people engaged. You've got your ERGs, your events, all of it. And then what also are you doing? You're hiring, and every new person that comes in and every person that leaves your organization, that starts changing your culture, right? And so how do you make sure that you're consistently adding to your culture and not taking away from the culture, also not creating a homogenous culture, and you're keeping it inspiring? And I feel like that's where strong practices around in talent acquisition come into play. Once again, the reason I started with our core values is that is who we are. And our interview process and hiring process is designed around our core values. So I think one of the most important things to do is have a presence, right? Like know who you are and who you aren't. Make sure your career site reflects that. Make it the content. And you want to make sure that you are putting out your most authentic company version, right? So people can opt in. Second is it starts with that first touch, right? Making sure that everything that you do reinforces your culture and what you are looking for, the way that you respond, the timeliness in which you respond, that first conversation with the recruiter, being able to, we talk a lot about in recruiting, it's a two-way conversation. It's a two-way street. And we want to be transparent about who we are so folks can opt in or opt out of our process. And that's really, really important. And then as we start getting into some of the bigger interviews, of course, we're assessing skills and competencies and all of those things. But then we have interviewers that specifically focus on our values, that are asking questions. We want to make sure that this very unique and amazing culture that we have created is consistently and intentionally being added to by candidates and people that will thrive in it. And, it's really amazing to see since I've been at PitchBook, gosh, like probably doubled the head count in terms of, hiring, and probably, I don't know, hired 1,400 people since I've been there. And to watch so many people enter the organization, people exit the organization, and still at the very core, those values to be there and to see those be lived out and played out every day has been very, very invigorating. So with that, that's really all I had planned today. I don't have a good quote like the guy before us, but I did really like his quote. And if there's any, I guess, parting wisdom I have to say is, as an organization, know who you are, know who you aren't, be proud of the culture that you've built, and make sure when you're adding people and adding folks into that culture that you have a very intentional process and way to do that.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mary. That's so, Mary Catherine, I love that your data-focused organization is truly relationship-focused. So many ways to be engaged and
right,
have fun together. And I wish I could be there for trick or treat day. What I did want to
Oh my God, it's the best.
Oh, really? I bet. I mean, I miss kids in costumes. I would love for them to come by. I would love to know though, what has been your favorite volunteer activity that you've done on your volunteer day there?
Oh gosh. Okay. I
Sorry to put
really
you on the spot.
like, oh no. I really like the Food Lifeline because it's very you get to wear this little hat and gloves, and then you get to, like, I was on rice duty, and that was really fun. And I'm not really good at things like this. Like, I like spill stuff everywhere and make a mess. It was just really fun for me to be able to do that. And then you see it and like how much rice you bagged and how much food that feeds. And then that's really, really impactful.
Oh my gosh, that's that's just spectacular. You get the day off and you get to go give, and what rewards for everyone around. That is just
Yeah.
what a great culture. I also really appreciate your insights on how recruitment shapes culture. Really, really helpful for all of us to hear today.